Welcome, welcome, welcome. My name is Elizabeth A. Corshu. I am the founder and CEO of Nurse Exec Innovations, Resilience Leadership Coaching, and Global Health Consulting firm. I am also the recent authoress of the book titled Beyond the Vision, as well as the podcaster host for the podcast titled Pass the Mic. Some of you are probably saying, what is Pass the Mic? Who's Pass the Mic? Well, Pass the Mic is a platform that I established for visionaries, game changers, advocates looking to execute their global footprints in today's society in the areas of healthcare, business, education, technology, culture, fashion, and so much more. Today, I have a special series and a special guest. This series is titled Empower Her, which is for Women's Her Story Month, Women's History Month. And I am featuring and highlighting women all throughout the nation of the U.S. Today's special guest is actually coming from El Paso, Texas, and her name is Jeannie Watkins. And she is a rising entrepreneur, just finished completing her master's program in business administration. She's done other degrees as well. She's a mother, she's a woman doing it all. Yes, and she just recently hosted a phenomenal watch party of another phenomenal woman. And may I say, that woman is right here out of Brooklyn, New York, named Shirley Chisholm, also a woman of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, as well as my soror, Jeannie Watkins. I'm going to bring Jeannie Watkins in to give us a brief, yes, I'm going to give her the opportunity to give her a brief intro. She can tell us who she is. Who is G? Did I say G? I'm sorry. I called you Janine. I apologize. I got excited. But
Okay.
I know it's Jeannie. So you just kind of share with us, share with the audience. Who is Jeannie? What does it mean to be a woman? And I see you all the different things that you're doing. As a wife, as a mother, as a all everything. So if you could just kind of share who you are as woman Jeannie.
So, again, my name is Jeannie Watkins. I am a member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. I am also the owner of Watkins Creative Measures, which is an Etsy store that I have. I am a mother of three. I am the wife of Joelle Watkins, who is a captain in the Army. Um, I am an SFRG leader for him, for his unit. I am very involved in the community with Delta, with our chapter here, El Paso Alumni Chapter. I am the chair of International Awareness Committee. I am a member of the MSC Committee. I am also a member of the Audit Chair Committee. So my hands are super, super busy. I am trying to make the best of my situation right now because my husband is deployed. He is currently overseas on a deployment. And so for the past 8 months, it's just been me. And thankfully, I do have my sorors to help me out. I do have other military spouses that I am very close with that have also helped me out in times where, I just need a break. So what else? I don't know what else to say. I don't want to say I hate talking about myself, but I always find talking about myself is a little bit difficult sometimes.
I think we all do. I feel the
Yeah.
same way. Don't feel but I do say thank you for your transparency. Of shout out to the bruh, Joel Watkins. I pray
Yes.
for a safe return, and I always tease him. I said maybe you guys will have twins, but thank you for your transparency, because there are other women out here who also have their husbands that are deployed, and you just shared some tips of what you're doing to keep yourself till your husband's safe return. So thank you, for all, salute women that are holding it down, whose husbands are deployed overseas. So thank you. So I just wanted to ask you, I'm going to jump right in, and ask, in regards to empowering Jeannie, what does Jeannie do to empower herself? And then how does Jeannie extend that empowerment of herself to other women around her? What do you do? Like right now, today, I'm on the East Coast, you're in the Midwest, South. Um, it's raining and it's really dreary. And I had to really, we just talked about that before we got on. I had to really push through to even put this on, to get on. Like, what do you do if you're having like a down day or difficult day? How do you empower yourself and then empower others?
So, how to empowering myself, I think of just everything that God has brought me through. And I like to do a lot of self-care, going and taking the day to go get your nails and a pedicure done, or go and getting your hair done, stuff like that, going to the gym, sometimes just listening to sermons and like literally with headphones. Like, I have to block everything out. So when I do that, I put headphones on and I'm just, either listening to music, listening to sermons, trying to stay out of my head is one of the things that I find is helpful, because sometimes I get in my head. As a woman, I get in my head, and difficult times allow things to transpire. So to avoid that, I try to stay positive, or try to think of, like I said, everything that God has brought me through. I try to surround myself with sorors, because they truly empower me. That's, being around women, like-minded women, like uh, just women who have the same motivations,
That
same
part.
goals of wanting to be better, or to do better, or to be active. Um, that's empowering to me. And last night was an example of that. I mean, we all fellowshipped, we ate, we watched a great movie about a strong, magnificent woman. And just being surrounded by strong, magnificent women as well is that's empowering to me. So I try to surround myself, with positive people. Did I lose you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. 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 Thank you. Thank you for that. Yeah, and you know what? I'm so glad to hear that, you're sharing that, and you know that, and at such a younger age, because sometimes by distractions, because we're just, running here to accomplish this, accomplish that. But as you just shared, your circle of strong women, circle of like-minded women, circle of, I don't know, I feel in my spirit to say, circle of praying women, all of those things. You
Yes,
have
very
to
much so.
have a really strong circle, because if you're having a, I'm sorry, you said the circle.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's so important. So thank you for sharing that. Um, my next question to you, you kind of touched upon it, but I'm going to ask anyway. Um, God, what does God and faith look like in your life, your daily integral life? What is a day for Jeannie start like in the morning, in the midday, afternoon? You did say that in the beginning you touched upon about you look back at the things that God has brought you through. So just kind of share, maybe that you might have an example, a story. Just kind of share with someone that might be having a rough patch, a valley moment, trying to figure out how are they going to, like, what does Jeannie, like, empower us with what Jeannie does, like how is God and faith an integral part of Jeannie's life?
Well, I always, well, I try because I'm not perfect, but I try to start off my day with the Lord's Prayer. I try to, and I have to give a lot of this credit to my husband because my husband has been a very big part in bringing me back to where I needed to be with my relationship with God. Um, so we have
Yay!
Yes,
Yes.
yes, very much so. So we have the Bible app. So I read the verse. I try to read the verse first thing in the morning, try to, go through the prayers that the Bible app has, like, when they break down the scripture for you, and then, guided prayers and stuff like that. So that's normally what I try to do to start off my day so that I have something good to reflect on. Um, of course, I'm not perfect. I will say that I'm not perfect, and so sometimes, I lose sight of that. But I do say that when times get hard, I find that I draw closer because I know that He has brought me through so many things. But with that being said, I'm trying to make it a better habit of not
Mm-hmm.
waiting until times get hard for me to consistently have that relationship with Him. So I'm getting better at that because, like I said, deployments are hard. Deployments are very hard. And so just a scenario, probably a couple of months after me and my husband got married, he deployed to Kuwait. And our daughter,
Wow.
she wasn't,
Wow.
yeah, our daughter wasn't even a year old. So, and I had just moved to Clarksville at the time. So I didn't really have anybody around. I didn't know a whole lot of people. We had gone to a church, so I started going to, women's Bible study and being, like I said, surrounding myself with, like you said, praying women helped me through that deployment. I became an usher at the church. I became very involved. So he
Okay.
has, I don't want to say he has pushed that on me, but he has definitely reminded me, you know, that I need to have a consistent relationship with him. And so I'm thankful for that. Um, then another time when we
I'm
left.
thankful for him. I'm sorry.
Listen, I give my praise to my husband because I know he deals with a lot and he's very patient with me, but he's also shaped me into the woman that I am now. He has definitely brought me far from where I was when he first met me. So I contribute, and I know a lot of it is me too. You know what I'm saying? I went and I pushed myself to do these great things that I've
Yes.
done.
Yeah. Give yourself
Um,
credit.
but
Yes.
again,
Yes.
I don't I it's not on me. So I'm thankful for my partner in life. In that retrospect, very much so. When we left Tennessee, I was pregnant with our second child.
Mm,
And I was in
mm,
my third trimester. We made a move
mm.
in my third trimester.
Wow.
And I was also in the
Hmm.
last semester of my bachelor's program online.
Oh, God. My,
So we made the move. I think it was
oh my
like
God.
sometime in we yes, we made the move sometime in I think it was in
Woo!
the early fall. I think it was September. I was due with my son in November, and I was due to graduate my bachelor's December 3rd, I think it was. So literally all of that happened. And about I think it was 6 days. Yeah, it was 6 days after my son was born, my brother passed away, which was the week of my finals. So, yeah.
Wow. Mm. Mm. God really brought you through. But God. That's God. All God. All God.
Yeah. But God.
Wow.
So I always say I don't know how I did it, but I know how I did it. So I'm so thankful for God bringing me through. And so that's why I say I reflect on times like that I know it was nothing but Him.
Yes. Yes.
Sorry.
But
I get
God.
emotional sometimes.
Yes. Yes. No, you have no, but your strength, your tears of glory at this point, because at that time when you were going through, I'm pretty sure, just like the rest of us, you said you're not perfect. I'm not, none of us are perfect. We're not God. But God knew what he was doing when he gave you Joelle. God knew what he was doing. Like I'm not here to put anybody's business out on the street. I'm not.
Right.
But I've been Facebook friends with Joelle for years now, and I saw who was his previous person, and I'm telling you right now that that ain't it. That ain't it. And as a matter of fact, I was so proud. Yeah. I'm the type of person I'll say what I gotta say. But I do it in a very in a gentle and a sisterly manner. And I said to him, I sent him an inbox and I said, I am so proud of the choice you make. You, but I'm so proud of the choice you made, and that was it. So I'm glad you're sharing this because 2 reasons. Women out have a praying husband who is going to lead you and guide you. And then like Jeannie just said, she's a work in progress like the rest of us. And I'm so proud of you. Oh my gosh, you have a story. You have a book. You have literally a book. So,
it's so funny you say that, girl, because I
keep going, keep doing.
It's almost surreal that you say that, because I feel like God has been telling me to do that. I really do feel like God has been telling me to do that. And for some reason, I just I don't know why I haven't acted on it. I feel like I do have a story, because my story before Joelle, like you said, it wasn't it. It was not it. So that's why I say I've definitely come a long ways from who I was before I met Joelle. And so again, that's why I give him so much credit. But again, even with saying that, like, I feel like God has been telling me that I need to either tell my story, which is one reason why I was so honored that you even asked me to be a part of this series, because I've never had a platform to really, you tell your friends or you tell your circle, things that you go through, but a platform to really tell my story and make a difference.
Yes.
Is it's something that, even coming into Delta, that was something that was one of my reasons for wanting to be a Delta, was because I wanted to be a part of a platform where I could make a difference. And I knew I had it in me. It's just how I didn't know, what I needed to do. And so now I think my relationship with God is more geared towards his guidance, guiding me to guiding my steps to put me in the position where I am now on this series, to tell my story and potentially write it.
Yes. And if you need help, if you need help, Soar, we can schedule a meeting where you and I could just meet, and I can just, or I can give you an outline, and you look, you completed 2 degrees. Okay, 2 degrees, you can write this book. Okay,
Yeah.
so if you need help, look,
Yes,
I
yes,
done
I'm
wrote a
actually,
book. I can
listen, I'm
help
going
you.
to take you
Okay,
up on
and
that.
just for disclosure to those that are watching,
I'm going to take you up on that. So
okay,
you will be receiving an email from me shortly after.
and oh, okay, no problem. And full disclosure, we never even met, right? We
No,
never met each other in person. We only met virtually, right? So look at how God works. So
I was just about to
thank
say
you for
that. Look at
sharing that.
God.
So moving on to the next question. What talents? Oh, what were you going to say? Tell me. What were you going to say?
I said, no, I was saying nothing but God.
Yeah, 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 yeah. It is. It is. And I thank him. I thank him.
Yes.
So what talents and gifts would you say Jeannie has that she wants to share with the world? Jeannie you have it on the inside of your heart. Like I talk about it in the book. I talk about we all are little boys and girls. We're women now and men, but we're all little girls and boys with dreams and vision. What talents, what gifts did God like put in your heart and you want to bring out and share with the world?
I think what I want people to know about me is that I'm a safe space. I'm not like, and what I mean by that is that I'm always a person that regardless of whether we know each other or not, if you tell me you need somebody to talk to, I'm going to listen. And I'm, you know, I just I'm I try to be I try to be a good person, wholehearted good person. You know what I'm saying? And so for me, I think one of the talents that God has placed is just to op- be open and be. I can't think of. I'm tripping over my words here, but what I'm trying to say is I'm a person that I don't want anybody to feel like they can't come and talk to me. I want to portray that I am someone that that you can talk to, or if you need advice, or what I'm saying, or you can confide in. I'm not someone who's going to judge. I have done so before, but I've been working on myself to a point where I'm just trying to be more open-minded towards other people and not be, so quick to judge and think pessimistically about, situations or stuff like that. So I try to put the optimism, I'm trying to be more optimistic and put that optimism in other people as well. And a lot of that is helpful by reading my scripture in the day, because I'm constantly asking for God to continue to teach me patience, or give me patience. Oddly enough, that's part of my line name. But it's like I am patient, and I'm a very patient person when it comes to certain things, but I know I need to be more like God and be patient with all things. And so,
Mm.
I need to I know I know I have it in me. I just need to uh work
Refine
on
it.
it. Yes, refine it. There you go.
Yeah, yeah. Well, like I said, we're all a work in progress. I tell people all the time. I don't know if you remember this song. I know I'm kind of dating myself, but there's a song, you might have heard it in the remix in Happy Feet, called Don't Push Me Cause I'm Close to the Edge, right? And I'm trying not to lose my head,
My
that
head.
song.
Yeah.
So so there's a side of me. I can come off very in the 80s. I used to, late 80s, I used to love watching the Cosby Show and watching Claire Huxtable.
Yeah.
I love, I could be, I tell people all the time, don't push me, because there's two sides. I could be Claire Huxtable, or I could come out being Cardi B. Which side do you
Yes.
want? Yeah.
Right.
I
Right.
try very hard to put Cardi B away. Okay.
Yeah.
And all of us have that alter ego. Some people will act like they don't have an alter ego, or they don't have another side to them. We all have what do they call it? A dark side. There, we all have it.
limit.
We all have it.
Yeah.
So we all have to work. Some people have to work more diligently than others, and others, you know, you know what I'm saying.
Right.
So that's where it at, and that would be that's a whole nother path to Mike. Okay, that's a whole nother path to Mike. Because somebody asked me, somebody asked me, said, "Oh my God, you're beautiful. You're so accomplished. You're so this. You're so that. You're a mom of twins. You grew." And I said, "Listen, I don't know if you remember the artist Lisa Left Eye Lopez. There was a situation where she was married or with whomever. She was with her partner. And I remember I was in college then, okay? And I remember the house burning. And I was watching it with my mom. And my mom was like, "Oh my God, I can't." You remember how we just talked about people judging, right? "Oh my God, I can't believe how she would burn down the house." Blah, 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 blah. And I watched it, and I was listening to the exactly. So I was watching, and I was like, I said, "Boy, oh boy, she must have really." Not to say that's correct. Let anybody watching this, that is not the move. Do not go and pull a Lisa Left Eye Lopez.
Right.
Don't do a waiting to exhale like Angela Bassett. No. I'm not. I just want to put it out there. I'm not saying to torch. Do not torch anybody's house. Don't burn nothing down. No. Go and do like Jeannie said. Go read some scriptures and calm your butt down. Okay, go calm your butt down. Do not do anything out of But put your headphones on. Silence the noise. But what I am saying is that you don't know the limits. We just talked about don't push me. So if you know who you are and you know you're working, don't put yourself in environments or situations that are going to get you there. So that's all I want to say. And I'll move on from that, because that, like I told you, that's a whole nother path to Mike. So in regards to your yes, right. So what does Jeannie do differently since the pandemic, since we've survived the pandemic? 6.2 million people. I talk about it in the book. That's what inspired me to write the book, because people are not really living their true God-given life and the desires that are in their hearts that God has put. So what does Jeannie do differently since the pandemic, and what do you value about your life? Don't even talk about Joel. I appreciate him, but just talk about Jeannie. What does Jeannie do differently and about since the pandemic happened?
I value interpersonal relationships more. Now, that when I was looking at that question, I was like, you know what? That's a good question. And I had to think about it. And it's valuing in-person relationships, because we've gotten in this spectrum, which is it's good and bad to it, right? Because we're exposed to being able to meet people from other, parts of the world via video, Zoom or platforms like this. So that's great because you're able to, meet people in that way and, conduct business and stuff like that. But it also just takes away because it becomes such a convenience. It has become such a convenience to just log on a Zoom meeting rather than going into an office. You know what I'm saying? That it's taken away from the interpersonal relationships. As a member who crossed during the pandemic, I crossed in fall 20. My process was completely different than
Wow.
what I expected it to be. I expected to, you know,
Mm.
I expected to be able to build better relationships with with my line sisters because we were all going through something together. But then when you're on Zoom, it's hard to build those type of relationships because you're on Zoom. So I just personally, I value interpersonal relationships or contact with people face to face because a lot of us, I think, have grown to this convenience of just doing stuff over Zoom or conducting business over Zoom or holding meetings over Zoom or even with families. Like my there was a family reunion held over Zoom. You know what I'm saying? Because of the pandemic. So to me, the pandemic, I mean, and value health care. Let's start there too. Let's value healthcare and healthcare providers and you know people like yourself, nurses
Yes.
and yeah,
Yes.
you know what I'm
Yes.
saying?
That part.
Yeah. So definitely learn to appreciate those people in those fields way more than what we did because before we took it for granted. You know what I'm saying? And now when we were faced with this, pandemic, it was crazy to see that people didn't have enough or hospitals didn't have enough beds or rooms. I was pregnant and caught COVID and I had to go to a hospital and I was in a room full of people with COVID because
Oh my gosh.
they didn't have enough separate rooms to put everybody in. Like that was surreal to see that. So yes, valuing healthcare and valuing, interpersonal relationships were the two things that I came
Wow.
up with when thinking of things that I
Wow.
value or do differently since the pandemic. I tried to be more present in my spaces.
Yes. Yes, I agree with you. Yes, yes. One thing I know for me, like there's a scripture, it's Matthew 6:24. It says, don't worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow has its trouble of its own. So time I used to worry about like, oh my God, like what's next week gonna look like? What's 3 months from gonna look like? What's 6 months? What's gonna look like? I mean, I used to be like this all through from like 20 all the way up to 40, okay? Into my mid 40s. Cause I used to be like worrying about how am I going to graduate? I'm going to graduate with honors. Where am I going to be in 5 years? I mean, it's great to have a plan. I'm not saying not to have a plan,
Right.
but when you're worrying so much about the future, like worry about the present. Like some people don't even know if they're going to even make it to tonight.
Right.
I have literally been in situations as a nurse where I've seen people at work and they would say, hey, well, I'll see you tonight. And guess what? I didn't see them because the Lord took them.
Yeah.
And so that's how we have to be. We have to be more present. And and that is one of the things the pandemic taught me was to be mindful, meditation, and also just to like slow down. You could do things, don't get me wrong, but like you just said, interpersonal relationships mean a lot. Started the broadcast with saying how you have to be in the right circle. One of the things for me was identify to me who's in my circle. Was the circle great? Yes. But what God is doing with me in my life at this point in time, he needed to move up and out of certain things, if that makes any sense. Still in contact with all of those people, but on a different level. Because when you are laser focused, like you just said, I'm the same way. Before you even knew this, I will put on a set of headsets. I've always been like that. Even in high school, I played singles, Serena Williams, like I played that. So I used to put on we didn't have headsets. It's called a Walkman. I know I'm dating myself. So I would tune everything out. And when you're focused and you're on a mission and you got purpose in your life, you don't have time you don't have time. You do, and there's so much distraction out here.
Yes, very much so.
So kudos to you that you're holding it down. You're a wife. Go ahead. I'm listening. Go ahead. You said it's so easy. Go ahead.
I was just saying it was so easy to get distracted. It's so easy to get distracted.
Yeah. Yeah. So I thank you because you are a wife, you're a mother, you're a sister, you're a daughter, you're everything to everyone in your community. And listening to your story, like I'm going to take this crown off of this broadcast and put it right on your head, Jeannie, because you deserve this crown.
Thank you.
You really do. Yeah. You literally took, you know how they say beatings? You literally took one after the other, and you just kept getting up, and you just kept. Some people, do you realize all that you just told me? People don't even go through. They go through it within a decade. You went through all of that within months. Most people don't even survive, even get back up. So kudos to you. And yes, let this be, him, but God. So let this be the inspiration to write that book. So before I end the broadcast, if you can kind of share with anybody who catches the replay, how can they best get in contact with you for your Etsy creative, your business, as well as get in contact with you, for whatever reason?
So for my business email is Watkins, WATKINS, creative measures @gmail.com. And then for anything personal, not business related, my email is Jeannie, JEANNIE 2784 @gmail. I am always welcome to answer any questions anybody has. But yeah, those are ways that you can contact me.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much for blessing us with your story today. It's going to empower many, many women across the globe. And I just want to end with this quote, since you kind of shared on this broadcast. God put a desire in your heart at some point in your life that you will write a book. So there's a famous writer, a late writer. Her name was Toni Morrison. And she said that if there's a book you really want to read, but it hasn't been written yet, then you must read it. Toni Morrison. You heard that? So if there's a book that you want to read, but it hasn't been written yet, you must write it. So be inspired by that quote and take care.
I'm inspired by the quote, and I'm inspired by you. So thank you so much.
Oh, anytime. And take care. And God bless. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Say hi to the kids for me. Enjoy.
I will.